Exclusive. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor won't receive any special protection from US Epstein files. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor will not receive any special protection or redaction in the explosive US government Epstein files set for release, insiders say. Even as the White House reportedly scrambles to shield the pedophile inner circle, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor will not receive any special protection from the explosive US government Epstein files set to be released in the coming weeks, the Mirror can reveal. Despite alleged attempts in Washington to limit what becomes public, insiders say the former prince will not be spared, even as the White House reportedly moves to shield Donald Trump, senior Republicans and wealthy donors from exposure. The revelation comes as political pressure mounts for Andrew to testify before the U.S. Congress about his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Mountbatten Windsor, 65, was seen riding through the grounds of Windsor Castle today, looking subdued as he took his horses out with a female companion. But across the Atlantic, sources say doors are closing quickly around him. Victims' advocates believe that U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel will use U.S. national security claims and references to ongoing criminal investigations to shield dozens of Epstein associates. But Andrew will not be on any protected list. One U.S. official with knowledge of discussions told the Mirror, "This isn't Britain. There is no royal exemption, no special secrecy clause. The files are held across multiple agencies, including the Department of Justice, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. They contain surveillance logs, interview transcripts, operational notes and, crucially, the flight records of Epstein's longest-serving pilot, Larry Vysotsky, which have so far remained sealed, while the flight logs of former Epstein pilot David Rogers, which damningly placed Andrew on the notorious Lolita Express, have been public for years. Vysotsky's records are far more extensive. As Epstein's chief pilot for nearly 3 decades, he flew the disgraced financier on roughly 1,000 trips between New York, Florida, New Mexico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. A U.S. legal source told the Mirror. Rogers' logs were the tip of the iceberg. Vysotsky flew many more trips to various destinations, with numerous VIPs. Those records are expected to name individuals not previously linked to Epstein's movements, and yes, Andrew is on them. Potentially more times than the public currently knows. Such a revelation would drag the former Duke of York further into crisis. Andrew has repeatedly denied wrongdoing in connection with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, but has long faced questions over his visits to his pedophile pal's properties and the infamous photo with Virginia Giuffre. Inside Washington, officials are wrestling with the diplomatic fallout. One senior figure said the White House is working around the clock to reduce the volume of released documents, adding, "The priority is protecting intelligence assets and active investigations, not reputations." But there's a reason President Trump is calling for further investigations. New probes could delay or block releases. The official was adamant that embarrassment alone should not be grounds for redaction. "We can redact for classification, witness safety and prosecutorial integrity. What we should not do is recede to save embarrassment. Royal or not, irrelevant," they said. Vysotsky's logs are believed to include passenger manifests, crew notes, timings and handwritten entries. "If you think you've seen the worst of the flight information, you're mistaken," the source added. Rogers covered a fraction. Vysotsky flew the bulk of Epstein's movements. Buckingham Palace must surely fear that further disclosures could contradict Andrew's past public claims. Attempts to block publication are viewed as hopeless. "There is too much political pressure," said the source. "The Senate can stall, the White House can stall, but the files will come out, and when they do, all manner of names will be visible." Privately, Andrew's allies fear he is being scapegoated by an American process he cannot control. Pressure intensified after Keir Starmer broke convention at the weekend by commenting while at the G20 summit in South Africa. "Anybody who has got relevant information in relation to these kinds of cases should give evidence," he said. Asked whether that applied to Andrew, he replied, "If you have relevant information, you should be prepared to share it." Andrew has ignored a formal request from Democrats on the House Oversight Committee to testify about his ties to Epstein. Lawmakers gave him 2 weeks to respond, but he failed to do so. Their resolution, demanding the full release of the files, passed the House 427-1, then cleared the Senate before being signed. Epstein died in his Manhattan jail cell in August 2019 while awaiting trial. A death ruled suicide but mired in conspiracy theories. Maxwell was convicted in 2021 of sex trafficking minors and conspiracy and is serving a 20-year sentence.